most people, me included, one of the best things about owning a home is being able to do whatever you want to it. You know, all those little things that make your home just perfect for you. And sometimes only you, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. Now, generally, when you're thinking about upgrading your home, somewhere in the back of your mind is the fact that hopefully you're adding value to your home, so that maybe you can put a little extra cash in your pocket come sale time. But not all upgrades are created equal. Some add value, and some can actually cost you money at sale time. So in just a sec, I'll tell you which home upgrades you should probably consider, and which ones you definitely shouldn't. Welcome to my channel. I'm Stephanie Frost, and this is where I talk about all things real estate in the Ocala and Marion County, Florida area. So stick around for a minute, and if you like what you see, remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss whatever it is I come up with next week. So there are two basic reasons to upgrade your home. The first reason is to make your home more comfortable and functional for you. You know, make it better reflect your personal sense of style. And the second reason is to add value to your home for future resale. Now, in a perfect world, both of those things would happen at the same time, but in reality, things don't always work out that way. For instance, way back in the day, I showed an absolutely gorgeous home that had been customized by the sellers to exactly their taste. And their particular taste was the Wild Wild West, complete with bear hide rugs, a buffalo mounted on the wall, the whole ball of wax. The entire house was like walking through an Old West movie set. A lot of the interior was rough wood paneling. They had these custom cowhide window treatments, light fixtures, and chandeliers made from deer antlers and old pistols. Bathtubs were hammered copper. They even had these huge Western murals and desert scenes painted on the walls. And like I said, this was not a cheap house by any means. We were talking upper six figures, and it was a while back, so that was a serious chunk of change at the time. And I don't mean dime store decorations either. Every detail was incredibly well done, absolutely gorgeous. But it was just really specific to their taste. And I guarantee it cost a fortune to do, but that was money they were never going to get back on resale. In fact, it was costing them money, because every single buyer that walked in that door knew it was going to cost him another fortune to change all that stuff back. So there was basically no way they were going to pay what the home should have been worth. That home sat on the market for well over a year before their agent finally convinced the homeowners to tone down the decor and paint the walls with a more neutral paint color. And they still didn't get what they would have if everything had just been a tad more neutral to begin with. And before I go any further, let me say right now, there is nothing wrong with doing anything to your home that makes you happy and makes it more functional for you. You just got to know that sometimes those improvements that are so close to your heart and that you absolutely adore might not be so popular with anybody else. For instance, I personally think that having a wine fridge right next to my soaking tub is a great idea. Because after a long day in the trenches, there is nothing more relaxing than a hot bath and a cold glass of wine, or maybe two. And having the fridge right next to the tub seems like a real time saver to me. But even though I think it's a great idea, I totally understand that a lot of people wouldn't find it quite as compelling an idea as I do. And not just because a whole lot of people prefer showers. So the wine fridge stayed in the kitchen, which coincidentally is where most buyers would expect it to be. Enough said. So what are some upgrades that can add some instant value to your home? Well, number one, and probably the one that people think of first, is a kitchen remodel. We've all heard it a million times. Kitchens and bathrooms sell homes. And we've heard it a million times because it's true. One of the first things that people look at when buying a home is the kitchen. So if yours is looking a little tired and dated, a redo can significantly increase your home's value. But it can also be a little pricey. Even a basic kitchen remodel can include updating appliances, adding new cabinets and countertops, and maybe even installing new flooring, which can take a pretty hefty bite out of your wallet. So make sure that you're buying good quality materials that will stand up to the wear and tear of everyday living, just to make sure you get your money's worth. Another home improvement that can add value to your property is remodeling the bathrooms. Because chances are, if your kitchen needed a refresh, so do the bathrooms. Buyers today are generally looking for a zen spa-like experience in the bath, and I mean, who isn't? So, updating your bathrooms can make a big difference when you get ready to sell. A minor bathroom remodel might include replacing the fixtures, replacing the toilet, adding extra storage space, and maybe even new tile. And you can always save some cash here by buying a less expensive tile for the bulk of the job and then splurging on a really gorgeous and probably more expensive tile for the accent. That approach can give you tons of impact for a good bit less money out of pocket. And the third home improvement that can add value to your property is creating an outdoor living space. Here in Florida, we love our outdoor living, at least most of the time. The middle of summer can get a little brutal. But regardless, adding a deck, a patio, a summer kitchen area, or even just a fire pit will not only give you a great outdoor area to relax in, it can also make buyers sit up and take notice. Now, all those things that I've just talked about will add value to your home, but all of them can get pretty pricey, and you won't get a 100% return on your investment for the first two, well, although you probably will for the third. So right about now, you're probably wondering if there are any things you can do to add value to your home that won't leave you eating Kraft mac and cheese every night for the next 10 years just to pay for it. And the answer to that is, yeah, there certainly are. And the first one is, believe it or not, landscaping. Because it's the first thing that a buyer is going to see when they drive up to your home, and it pretty much sets the tone for how they're going to view everything else. If the outside looks really attractive, well, then any potential buyer is going to walk through that front door already in a positive frame of mind about what comes next. On the other hand, if they need a machete to hack their way through the front door, well, let's just say they won't be feeling quite so rosy about what they're going to see inside. Now, obviously, keeping the lawn mowed and the bushes trimmed is kind of a no-brainer, but don't forget about things like putting down fresh mulch and add some color to your landscaping with flowering shrubs, colorful foliage, or seasonal flowers. Color can have a huge impact on your landscaping. Trust me, it might seem like a really small thing, but it packs a big punch for buyers. Next up would be paint, inside and possibly outside too. If the interior walls are starting to look a little dingy and drab from everyday wear and tear, well, then a fresh coat of paint might just be in order. Of course, you might be able to get away with a good scrubbing, but when in doubt, paint's cheap, and fresh paint can go a long way towards making a home look fresh and new. And looking fresh and new not only makes your home look cleaner and brighter, but it also gives a boost to your property value. Don't believe me? Studies have shown that painting the inside of your home on average gives you a 107% return on investment. You're not going to get as big a boost for painting the outside, but you still get about a 55% return, and that's nothing to sneeze at. And if anybody in your home is a smoker, well, then fresh paint is probably a must and not just a maybe. There just aren't a whole lot of things that turn off a potential buyer faster than the smell of smoke in a home. Next up is fixtures. And this is one of my favorite property value hacks, because it's so easy for pretty much anybody to do, and it doesn't cost a ton of money either. You can replace any old, outdated kitchen or bathroom faucets and shower heads with some brand spanking new modern ones from the big box store without spending a ton of cash. And while you're at it, replace any old light fixtures or ceiling fans. If you haven't shopped for that stuff in a while, you might be surprised at how affordable it is to buy some really nice looking stuff, especially if you're shopping on sale. And you'll be amazed at how just those few little updates can make your home look so much more modern and up to date, which is exactly what most buyers are looking for. And that's going to translate into more cash in your pocket come sale time. Now, a slightly more expensive upgrade is appliances. If your appliances are really dated and look like they're one home-cooked meal away from total breakdown, you might consider checking out the appliance sales at that same big box store you got all your faucets from. There is pretty much always something on sale, so odds are you'll be able to find some decent replacements without breaking the bank. So now that we've covered some home upgrades that add value, what about some that don't? Besides wall murals and cowhide window shades, I mean. Well, first up is adding a swimming pool, which is not to say that pool homes are not incredibly popular and in demand here in Florida, because they definitely are. But not everybody actually wants a pool in their new home. Pools can be a hassle to maintain sometimes, and they are an added expense. So a lot of people just don't want to have to deal with having one. So while having a pool actually does increase the value of your home, it's a net loss if you're having one installed. But if you've always dreamed of having a pool and plan on putting one in for your own enjoyment, don't let that stop you. By all means, go right ahead. I'm right there with you. I mean, I love my pool. And like I said, having an in-ground pool will increase the value of your home, just not by as much as you spent to put it in. So don't expect to get dollar for dollar return on your investment, much less make a profit on it. And number 2 on the don't do list is a garage conversion. And maybe this should have been number 1, because even though a pool won't get you a dollar for dollar return on investment, it will increase the value of your home. But converting a garage into extra living space can actually reduce your home's resale value. Yeah, you get additional living area, and you'd think that would be a huge plus to buyers. But in reality, not having a garage is often a deal breaker for buyers. Not only can sitting out in the Florida sun be absolutely brutal to your car's paint, a garage gives you really valuable storage space for all your stuff, including all the outdoor toys like bikes and kayaks that you're probably going to want down here. Not to mention all the other stuff that you don't really want to store inside, like the lawnmower, power tools, and all those leftover scraps of paint from repainting the interior walls like we talked about earlier. And don't even get me started on garage conversions that get done without a proper permit. That particular situation is one that nobody really wants to deal with, ever. So if you do decide that you absolutely have to sacrifice your garage in order to get more living space, just do yourself a favor and make sure you get all the necessary permits for it, because you will regret it later if you don't. Just trust me on this one. And the last thing on the list of home improvements that don't add value is over-customizing your home. And what do I mean by over-customizing? Well, anything that is just really specific to you and your family that most people wouldn't find as attractive and compelling as you do. You know, things like full-size wall murals, maybe a 75-gallon fish tank built into the living room wall, or even a false TV wall with a hidden room behind it. One that's tiled floor to ceiling with black onyx tile, no less. Or maybe an above-ground pool installed in the floor of your garage. And yeah, those are all actual things that I've seen when showing homes. And again, there's absolutely no reason not to do any of those things in your own home if it makes you and yours happy and gives you enjoyment. If you just love the idea of having a real home theater with tiered seating and a built-in popcorn machine, or a climate-controlled wine room instead of an office, I'm not going to stop you. But just keep in mind that it's not going to help your bottom line any when it comes time to sell, and it will definitely make your home a harder sell. Because even though you love those things, most buyers aren't going to. And they're just going to start thinking about how much it's going to cost them to get rid of all of it. And once they've added it up, then they're going to lower their offer accordingly. Been there, done that, did not buy the t-shirt. Or the house, for that matter. And if you're thinking about selling your home and want to learn more about what improvements you can make in order to make your home more attractive to buyers, be sure and watch my video about how to stage your home so it really stands out. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon.